Hey everybody, Jessica Coulter here, CEO and founder of Ace Cookie Tutoring. Today we're talking about surprises, and we're not talking about surprise birthday parties, we're not talking about good surprises, bad surprises, unless we're talking about finals, which we are. So, if your kid has a final coming up, your high school or your college kid, this is for you. Now the question is that final cumulative? Is it going to be over everything that your child has learned this semester? So if it is, drop me a yes down below. If you're unsure, feel free to say an unsure, I don't know, a question mark, whatever you'd like to put there. Now we're talking about this because it's December, which means finals are just around the corner. For college students, they're a lot closer than they are for high school students. So I have 3 tips I want to share with you so you can share them with your kids so there are no surprises when it comes to finals. So tip number 1 is probably the most important, and that is, what did you learn? You know, moms and dads, ask your kids, what did you learn this semester? Because your kids have to know, well, we covered this chapter, this topic, this topic. If your teen cannot answer that question, there is problem number 1. I can tell you, if your kid doesn't know what he learned this semester, then he's probably not ready for that final. Okay, so moms and dads, I want you to ask your kid, what did you learn? Which chapters did you cover? Which topics did you cover? Because yesterday we talked about your kid's got to know, is that a cumulative final or is it just a regular old chapter test? So that was yesterday's video. So today I just want to focus on kind of the next step. Okay, so make sure you catch that video if you missed it, either on my Facebook page or on my YouTube channel. So next thing, second tip here for today's video. Once we know what your kid learned, what chapters were covered, the next thing to do, the next big tip, is to actually start reviewing that information. Now, if your kid is in an upper level math class or is in like a really challenging college class, well, your teen might have like bazillions of pages to read. Okay, like all sorts of worksheets, all sorts of assignments, all sorts of pages and pages of a textbook. Well, my second tip to help your teen get ready for finals is to only review. Okay, so I don't want them to read everything word for word. I want your teens to kind of skim and scan, and all we're doing is we're looking for stuff that makes no sense. So once you've asked your teen, hey, what did you learn? We know, yes, they know which chapters, yes, they know what topics, or they don't. Then we've got to figure out, okay, which stuff of those topics, of those chapters, are we confused about? Okay, so that's something you could ask your teen, you know. What do you need to study? You know, what's your focus going to be? And your teen has got to figure out which parts of each class, which parts of each topic are the sticking points. Okay, so that is tip number 2. So before we go into the last tip here in this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube, make sure you hit that follow button on Facebook, and again, let me know down below, is your child taking a cumulative final? Let me know with a yes or no or an I don't know. Okay? So third tip, once we know which topics, once we know which parts are confusing, then the last tip here is probably going to seem like the least fun to your student, but I can tell you, moms and dads that are watching, this is going to be the most important when it comes to actually starting that study ball rolling. Okay, I want your teens to take some notes of their notes. Yeah, might seem weird, might seem repetitive, but I can tell you that the more your teen handwrites some notes, handwrites some things that he needs to know for the final, that your daughter needs to know for the final, the more it's going to stick in your child's brain. Okay, so if you don't see your son or daughter writing down things from books, from notes, from worksheets, that I've got to encourage you to encourage them that they need to start compiling, condensing their notes. Okay, so figure out kind of the highlights of each section of the book, each notes, all of those things, because basically once we know what the sticking points are, well, then we need to kind of refresh our memories and figure out exactly is going to help them remember that stuff. Those are things that I talk about in my Facebook group. Those are things I talk about in my study course. And even more excitingly, I don't think I've mentioned it yet, but surprises on the finals are not fun. So that's what these tips are for, to make sure your kids don't see any surprises, because they'll know exactly what's covered. They'll be prepared for things that they've been struggling with. But a good surprise is my event coming up on the 14th. So join my Facebook group so you can get some details about that group. There's going to be details about that event. So the wins, the hows, the who's, all of that's going to be released in the group tomorrow. The event's on the 14th. But I want you to know exactly what to expect and who to expect in the group. So thanks for watching. Hope this helps. I want those finals to go really, really well. That's why the December 14th event is all about the finals. That's the only thing I'm going to tell you. If you want more details, see you in the group. Click the link in the description, answer a couple questions, and you're ready to rock and roll that event on the 14th and have a very, very stress-free finals week for this semester.